Hello and welcome to another episode of The Binge Thinker. My name is Jamil Raymond and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here as always. If you are noticing that it's looking and sounding different, I'm doing a little test episode with a new setup that I've got in my office. I've been faffing around with OBS, which is a broadcasting tool that a lot of streamers use. And I've just been trying to figure out how I can create quality content en masse and create a new content stack for short form video for the sales course and for Tech Sales Academy. So I thought, hey, it sounds all right, it looks all right. Let me just give this a little sampley poo on this version and see if I can put it through its test, put it through its paces. I mean, I'm using the same camera, it's just a different angle. I'm using my Rodecaster for the audio, which looking back did sound a little bit different to just using my wireless Rodes, which you can hear for the people at home. So yeah, just experimenting, iterating, seeing how technology can be used for the better. That is what I love doing. Man, this week, what can I tell you guys? Right now, straight up, I am going through it. Right, I am a little low on serotonin. Let's be honest. I had a big weekend for the first time in a long time. Actually, went out 2 nights in a row. 2 nights in a row after 30. No wonder I'm fucking depressed. I'm not depressed, but I'm just like, cannot be fucked. I went to bed at 2 a.m. on the Friday night / Saturday morning and then 4 a.m. on the Saturday / Sunday morning, which is very unlike me. I'm usually in bed by fucking 10:30, 11 at the latest if I'm stuck playing video games and Civilization. So sleeping cycles off. Had a little fun catching up with friends and had my cousin's birthday party on the Saturday night. So, let loose a little bit, put the hair down, literally. And so, yeah, just still paying for, just getting out of cycle. Got a little bit of a sleep debt to recover, and a little draining of the dopamine and the serotonin thanks to my medication and having a little fun with it. So yeah, it's just like today, getting some stuff done. First week that I haven't had the car. I officially got rid of that last week. Not as sad about losing the car compared to my Ford Falcon, old Falky, which was my low and slow first car, factory gas. It's had a classic Ford issue where the roof lining inside the car was sagging. Tried, fruitlessly to sort of keep that stuck to the roof with gaffer tape and glue. And did I even go staples at one point? Or did I see somebody else that just stapled it to the roof? I can't remember. I was very emotional when I lost that first car. Very sad. Broke down in tears. Because, it means a lot to you. It means your freedom. It means, you're a big boy out in the world. Yeah, it means a lot, the first car. To everyone. I was going to say to blokes, but I'm sure ladies appreciate their first car as well. But yeah, giving up the Audi. I was just like, all right, thank you. Thanks for your service. See you later. Just gave it a little pat on the butt, on the boot, I guess you'd call it. And then just let it get taken away. And using the cash, to keep me going a little bit longer. So, in the last week, what's happened? Had someone else buy the course, which was great, just again, out of nowhere. Leads generating, things are moving. I'm focusing more on shifting to the community. That's why over the last few days, I've been focusing on adapting to new ways of creating content so I can make good quality content in the community. And also just trying to just build systems for content creation that look good in multiple formats. It's a real challenge to fucking be creating content on a vertical format and a horizontal format when you want to maintain quality, on both platforms. So the good thing is you can just look at plenty of good people on YouTube that have, further along the journey, that you've got good content that you like and are interested in. So I've taken a few people's ideas and remixed them into my own, which is good. And yeah, just trying to figure this system out, because I've got to become just rage against the content machine, like I've said. So yeah, so a couple of wins there. This weekend, one of my coaching clients is on ice at the moment. Not methamphetamine, just on hold. They've had to delay starting because they've had some family issues, which is fair enough. I'm not going to get upset when you've got to prioritize your family first. Doesn't mean I'm going to get the revenue in straight away, which is fine, because I'm covering my bases financially for another 3 months, so it's all right. So again, swings and roundabouts. Right? This week I've got to deliver some more lectures, which I'm focusing on now, and yeah, just building, iterating, tweaking, and yeah, that's the process. But man, I'll tell you what, yeah, just that cannot be fucked. This is definitely, it's just extra because of the tiredness and the CBF-ness of how I'm feeling today. Had to make today, usually I go to the shops, I drive to the IGA, which is up the road in West Footscray from my house, because it's a little bit nicer than the Coles, which is walking distance, but you basically have to walk past Hotel Rwanda, aka Paisley Street, which is the most fucked street in Footscray, and probably one of the most fucked streets in Melbourne. Honestly, I don't know, people talk shit about the regions like Maui and Shepparton and stuff like that. I'm sure they're pretty rough as well, but I think I've said this before in the pod. Nicholson Street, this is just right outside the street, right outside, right in front of my street. Meth Mondays, man. There are so many crackheads just blatantly out and about. I'm pretty sure I saw a dude smoking a pipe today. Yeah, he was smoking a little weed pipe, which I don't know, I hope was weed. It could have been fucking crack. You just can't fucking tell, man. And so they've got this, they've got this food. So it's just the usual cavalcade, in a square, how would I put this? In a square meterage, probably 10 by 30 square meters, right? It's maybe call it half a soccer pitch. This plaza is in Dandenong Plaza. There'd probably be about, for the size of one of those indoor soccer pitches, that's probably the size of the plaza. And there's probably about 10 to 15 just different flavors of disadvantaged in that space. So you can imagine how tough it is for, a civilian, just a regular person walking by and just seeing this, delinquency. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but I'm going to use it and give it a crack. So it's intimidating. It's really intimidating. And again, when you see that around you, when you're already low on dopamine yourself and serotonin yourself, it just really amplifies the sadness. Oh, man. Even to the point where earlier today I was looking at, it's just hitting. Everything is hitting. Even now, it's officially winter. It's the 3rd of June, and it's cold as fuck. It's dark already. It's all just working against me right now. This is what I was trying to avoid. And honestly, part of me I was looking at it today, just getting the fuck out and going to Phuket or just some sort of tropical island, just so I can be in the sun and then stretch out my money a bit further. And it's just the lifestyle, man, because literally all I do, I wake up, I'm on my laptop, I wake up, coffee, journaling, not even any sun to regulate my circadian rhythm. I'm barely seeing sun at the moment, which probably means I definitely need to up my vitamin D supplementation. So then, then I'm working for from 7:30, 8 o'clock all the way to about 10, 11, gym, eat lunch, have a little bit of a rest, second coffee, Then I'm, working 2 till 5, 6, 7 o'clock, dinner, bed, right? That's life at the moment. And yeah, there's not a lot going on besides that. And so that means it's just like that routine. Fuck, I could do that. It's not like I'm relying on anything else right now except myself to get shit done. And just having a good internet connection, being able to create content. Really, all I need is a camera, a microphone, a couple of screens, good internet. And then, yeah, most of my business could be run from anywhere, which is the whole point of being a digital nomad. So I'm like, oh man, if it just sucks here, why am I here? Why am I really here? And it really is just my parents at this point, which I should just ignore that aspect because, I got to get the fuck out, and it's just it's just also what's keeping me here is the gig, and then, Jambo. I do love running Jambo, and then potentially my Swans could be playing grand finals footy. Well, they will be. If they fuck up this year, I would be real disappointed because they are thrashing and pretty dominant at the moment. But even today, in my escapism, I looked at how much a one-way ticket to Phuket was, and it was only like $700 or something like that. And I'm like, fuck, I could be in Phuket for basically, well, let's just call it $1,000 for a Airbnb for a month, and $700 to fly to Phuket. I could sell most of my shit and cover that cost and then be in Phuket in the sun, although it is actually monsoon season, so it would be fucking rainy, but it would still be 30 degrees and there would still be consistent sun, which is what I think I need. And yeah, that's like really fucking tempting. Really tempting. And I don't know if it's even worth, do I just fucking up and go? Because there's nothing really, it's just depressing. I feel like I'm at a wall right now, a real wall. And this is part of the game of building your own thing. And I have to also remember that, again, I'm putting myself through this pressure and putting myself through these efforts, and I need to get out of my own head a little bit more and, relax and slow the fuck down. Because at the end of the day, all these stresses are just the illusions of the head and the stresses of the body. And this is the fucking hardest part, right? This is the hardest part. I think it's one of the hardest things anyone else will do. I mean, besides giving birth, what are hard things to do? What are the harder things to do besides start your own business? Probably raising a disabled child is one of them. Shout out to you if you've got one. Holy shit, that's brutal. I always think that's one of the toughest things someone could do. You've really got to love your goddamn kid when you're looking after a disabled child. I've got a couple of them in my family, and fuck, nothing would test a parent's love more. And your dedication. Fuck, love's got to get you a long way with that sort of shit, man. So, yeah, that's, what else would be harder? It would just be caring for other people, I suppose. I'm thinking of else. I guess in the major stages of life, children, loved ones, caring for others, really. That's about it. Maybe running a marathon. Maybe not, actually, because once you run a marathon I'm running an ultra marathon? No, because this is, the real marathon is just building some shit, right? Like, you can't just, how would you compare this? You run an ultra marathon, that's tough as shit. You're putting yourself through physical and mental exertion every day. But I guess if it was a habit, then it wouldn't necessarily be a big deal. It wouldn't be, like, if you stopped running, then your life wouldn't be over because you probably have a day job. Because I can't imagine you're making a living running ultra marathons. Like, who's sponsoring you to run? Who's paying for you to run ultra marathons? The only people that I can imagine that would get into the ultra marathon sponsorship business would be people that sell those glucose gels that everyone must eat when they run. Some sort of anti-chafing cream. The people that manufacture ultra marathon gear and have sponsor, who would want to sponsor their, who's sponsoring David Goggins? I can't imagine he'd be taking some money from some sponsors somewhere, surely. But as far as mental toughness, that's got to take you to places, to hell and back. But on a long enough time frame, running a business is fucking probably the most challenging than that. I would say it's running a business because, again, the marathon, if you're running a business, could be your entire life, as opposed to the ultra marathon, which is, I don't know, they could run like a day, a full day or something like that, something crazy. But good on them. Man, I keep getting distracted. I've got my LinkedIn open. Also, that's another drainer. It's just, social media does suck. Like, it is a fucking drainer. Being on LinkedIn in particular. But this could also just be, that could also just be me cutting through the ugh. And then you're also just comparing yourself to others that have, got thousands more followers than you, and they seem to be getting more engagement and doing things that, you wish you were doing already. But again, fuck, these people have been slugging it out for years on this platform, and I'm a month in of actively being on the platform. So I can't really complain, right? I'm still at day one. These people are at day 10,000. So, but it doesn't mean your mind doesn't, again, take you to these places. Comparison is the thief of joy, and by default, we do that. There is just this constant new barrage of rejection and wanting to be connecting to people, or just getting those vanity metrics of, people like my stuff. And, it does become this dopamine trap. It really does become a fucking dopamine trap. But, hey, this is the nature of the game for a little while longer, right? It's also really fucking annoying. I'm just looking at some chick now that's part of my engagement pod. So what an engagement pod is where there's a bunch of founders and people that are building brands and businesses online that engage on your content. We all agree to engage in each other's content. And there's this chick, I'm not going to name her, but she just people use full AI to try and generate personal brands on social media, in particular LinkedIn. Like, if you're using AI to generate your own thoughts, why are you even talking? Again, can you hear that? Another classic Footscray siren. The official the official sound of Footscray is sirens. But yeah, this chick is just puts AI responses and comments, and they're so fucking mechanical. Everything on LinkedIn is, people just use such shitty, annoying professional language, but everything's amazing. Everything's delightful and inspiring. Truly inspiring. And is it truly inspiring? Really? Truly? I don't think so. That's not true at fucking all. I'm going to try and find one of these ladies, just generic compliments that comes on my feed. Because what I do with this lady in particular is that every time she comments, it's just fake robotic shit. So then what I'll do is I know she's not checking the response that I put, so I just say thanks, and then I put a little robot emoji underneath in response to her comment, because I know that doesn't matter. She's just, again, putting the bare minimum in to generate a personal brand using synthetic content. Like, how do you not realize the paradox in that? So, all of my content, all of my engagement is, for better or for worse, organic, brain to keyboard, farm to table, thoughts, outcomes, beliefs. And, that's just the nature of this game, right? It's just a fucking grind. Fucking grind. Where is this comment? I'm just trying to find where this is. But again, it is all working. I'm getting leads, I'm getting conversations, etc. Okay, here's one of the comments, right? So I put up a post last week about using emotional energy in your intuition for sales skills and how that powerful that is. And I call it the sixth sense of sales, right? Because it is our sixth sense. So this is their response. Impressive insights into the power of emotional energy and intuitive sales skills. Understanding and honing this sixth sense can truly elevate one's ability to connect and empathize, leading to transformative relationships and enhanced emotional intelligence. A valuable reminder to acknowledge and harness this vital aspect of human interaction for professional success. Who the fuck talks like that? Right? That is just some mechanical shit. And of course, you're going to see that extra on LinkedIn because people can't really talk how they feel and want, which is what I'm going to start doing soon on LinkedIn, in particular TikTok, because people want the emotion, man. People want the realness. And yeah, I got to remember that I built this brand. I built this business to be myself and to talk the way I want to talk and express the things that I want to express. And yeah, although I'm not entirely myself because there are certain limitations, I've already gotten in deep shit in the past. Not deep shit, but people that did not like my comment. Once, I'm pretty sure just when I was going viral, I put up some comment. I remember I put up a post about how Qantas, 3 days after I went viral, Qantas put out a policy change saying you can't record video on flights anymore. So that was I was the final straw in the camel's back. And then I was talking about how interesting that is, and that, I can't just be the final straw. Surely it's all the fucking bogans on the Bogan missile, aka Jetstar, that are punching on the way from, WA, from Perth to Kuta. And it got no likes and no responses except for one guy saying, way to antagonize people by calling them, by saying they're bogans and being on a bogan missile. Which is fair enough for LinkedIn, but bogan missile is such a funny term, man. It is such a funny term, the bogan missile. It's, yeah. This is why I come and talk on a podcast to be myself in a space like this, right? Because even though sometimes saying the things I want to say to you guys and girls, the good people of this podcast, feels like it does push a certain limit. But that's because I've gotten into a lot of trouble over the years for speaking out of turn, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I don't want to. It's fun. I just get so much joy out of talking shit. I mean, hey, this podcast, everything I do is just trying to get paid to talk shit. That's the nature of this game, baby. That's what I want to do. But yeah, AI, man, and it's all just crunching. It's all just right now. Overall, I do feel positive. I think I've got 3 months worth of cash to get things done, but I don't want to lie about the fact that I feel like goddamn shit. And, nothing a good couple of days of sleep and just taking it easy can't fix, right? So that is what I shall do. One of the interesting things, so on the weekend, going out to socialize. It's so interesting. Like, on Saturday, went to a party, my cousin's party. A lot of fun. They have these great themed parties. My cousin and her best friend, Matt. And Matt's the real creative force behind it. He's a creative freak of nature. I love Matt. And they put on these elaborate house parties where they doof the fuck out of everything, okay? Make it psychedelic and bright and colourful and trinkety and rainbowy, and it's a lot of fun. And I got to DJ, which is fun. I do enjoy DJing, and I do want to get back into it at some point. Well, not get back into it, but do it more. Basically, they needed some decks, so I just brought my controllers and hooked up to Serato, which is an app, and took the rust off. I was as rusty as a rusty trombone DJing. I was literally just picking music, pressing play, shifting between tracks. Nothing amazing because I don't really have that expertise. But there is just so much power about being behind the decks. Being the guy, being the person that creates the experience. I do just fucking love it. But, yeah, just being at the party. Man, there's actually this one lady. I hope to be this lady. I think she was 75. She told me she was 75. And she was this, you couldn't tell. You know what she looked like? Who is that chick from, let me find it. She says, she's from The Incredibles. Edna? From The Incredibles? Is that what her name is? Let me just click that. That's the good thing about where I am now. Because I'm right literally in front of my laptop. Is Edna. Yeah, Edna Mode. E-Mode. If you remember her, she's the tiny lady with the black bowl cut on The Incredibles that creates the costumes. And she goes, Nookips. And this lady was like an older version of her. And so she looked old. I shouldn't say she looked old. She looked older, but she did not look. Maybe she did look 70. I wouldn't say she looked 75 because I presume that 75-year-olds are pretty. She was very sprightly for 75. Let's just say that. She was very sprightly, energetic. The fact that she's in a house party with 40 people and everyone's, doing drugs. And she was doing a little bit of something as well. She was getting the crossfade on. She was obviously cool as shit. Because, she was talking about how you just couldn't tell. She looked like a neighborhood old lady. But then we got to chatting and she's like, oh, yeah, I grow a couple of weed plants. And I don't have my medical card, but I've got enough to get by. I've got ounces of weed and all that sort of stuff. And, and I just have a little bit of my own thing and chill out. And I used to smoke with my husband, but he died. Fucking idiot. That's what she literally said. And I was like, this lady still has soul in her. She, age is just a number to this lady, and I love it. And I hope to be that. And I kind of feel like that now, like, again, 33, but not feeling like my clock is ticking because it's not, obviously. I don't have much of a biological clock, but I do feel the want to start a family, but I guess I don't feel pressured to have all of the expectations that someone in their late or early 30s would have compared to 10, 15 years ago. And I think that's more of I think that's just a collective generational thing. Is that, as we know through this, there's not many real adults. There's lots of hurt children just masquerading as adults. And I think we're really starting to recognize that as we become more and more conscious as a collective. So then the pressure to have it all figured out slows down. We want to be more present with ourselves and work on ourselves and not just be this fucking machine of tax revenue and working 9 to 5. And, the only really challenge that we've got is the desire to have children, particularly for women, which really sort of, I guess, limits the time frame on when you can have kids. And I wonder if for women, and if ladies of the pod, please reach out and let me know. How old would you want to be? How old would you think would be ideal to have children if biology was not a factor for women? I'd be curious to understand what that looks like. Because you still want to be a younger parent. You still need the energy to manage those cheeky little monkeys, right? But I think, for biologically side, do you want to? Yeah, I think the energy is probably the biggest factor. And also just being prepared and having the nest available. You got to work a few years now to start a family. Like that's, again, I've talked about this in the past. Like part of what I'm doing now is to build the nest, to have a comfortable life, and not worry about money and get out of the, debt slavery, as a lot of people like to call it. And like, even I've got some cousins now that are pretty well off, earning great money between the both of them. I think they're called Henrys, Henry. I saw this on Reddit, which is high earning not yet rich. So they're a couple of Henrys making great money, but they got a house in a nice part of town, about 10 minutes away from here, and they have a kid, and they're struggling, right? And between them, they've probably got a couple of hundred, probably earning 300 grand plus between them. Which you must have been like, how the fuck are you guys struggling? But just to get a house in a nice part of town here in Australia is fucking insane. It is fucking insane. And then, just raising a kid in general, just the expense of it. They were telling me how expensive childcare is. Like, childcare is basically the price of most people's daily wages. So it doesn't even make sense for people to put them in childcare. And then you're just exposing your kids to a bunch of other diseases. Like, childcare and kindergartens just seem to be disease pits for young children. So, yeah, it doesn't seem worth it, man. I just think as a collective, excuse me, the squeeze, right? The squeeze. We're feeling squeezed, I think, here in Melbourne. It's depressing. The economy sucks. Trump gets fucking convicted. But, oh man, it just feels like, what the fuck is going on right now, huh? What the fuck is going on? With that Trump being convicted shit, like, it's not gonna stick, man. I mean, if it does, it just looks bad. Isn't that weird? The pendulum is swinging back so fast compared to what I thought it was. We've talked about this in the last couple of weeks, but it's swinging back fast, man. That just right now, like, there's going to be a real tipping point over the next few years. But the bad look is that it's just becoming ever more present and blatant what the military-industrial complex looks like on both sides of the Democratic and Republican fence in the US. And the war hawks seem to be more Democratic than anything else, because I don't think Trump will want to go to war. And God forbid that he runs some sort of military. God damn it, that'd be fucked. But I guess if Bush could do it, but then Bush had a coalition of other smarter people and some other indoctrinated war hawks like Colin Powell and who's this? Dick Cheney, etc. I mean, there's plenty of morons that go to war. That's usually part of the problem, is that they're all fucking morons anyway. But yeah, with Trump getting convicted, it just seems blatant. Sure, he did some fucked things. I'm not pro-Trump. But, like, of course he was going to get convicted. And realistically, there's still no alternative to Trump that's much better. And Biden cannot string a sentence together. I stress, not stress, but I cannot wait to see the debates. I cannot wait to see Biden in a debate, because he is going to be retarded. And you're going to be like, holy shit, the emperor has no brain cells, and this guy is being weekend at Bernie's up for the military-industrial complex to keep sending money to fucking Israel and to Ukraine and just keep the war machine going at the cost of most of the West, really, because the downstream effects economically of the US falling to shit affects everyone. Like, the dollar sucks right now in Australia. God damn, it stinks. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's at 50 cents. God. And again, the more reason for me to just want to get the fuck out of here, because that dollar can stretch a lot further in the tropics. Man, I mean, I really should just take the fucking punt and get the fuck out. Even if it's just for a few months and I just, sell all my shit. If I sell all my shit, so what? I could probably generate about 5-6 grand worth of stuff. Literally, I've got so much gear in here, and all the gear and no idea. And then, but if part of it feels like running away, but it also doesn't. And then also, like, yeah, it's like people who go to Darwin. I don't know if you've heard about this, but people who go to Darwin are usually dodgy and avoiding some sort of shit. And that's what a part of it feels like, but also a part of me just like wants to live my goddamn life. Anyway, as you can tell, I am tail spinning right now. It is. I am tired. I am stressed. And yeah, like even talking to you guys, like I fear that I'm just repeating myself. I have these meetings with Ashna, who's my, who works for me as my social media employee. And even talking to you guys, I feel like I'm just going around in circles saying the same shit about myself because I'm just in a tailspin of my own world and being self-obsessed and getting through this process. That it's like, am I even adding value at this point to anyone besides just being in my own fucking muck? And that's an existential question I might have to take to Cecilia and get some therapy on, right? Or just recognize that this is a stormy period right now, and I need to just ease off, breathe a little bit, just, let things be. Let things be. These storms will pass and sunny days will come. It is all part of the process. We are doing hard things, right? Very hard things. And on that note, folks, I think I might just leave it there. I am spent. Truly spent. A little bit of a shorter one. Need to just take a goddamn break, slow the fuck down, and, curl up into a ball for a little bit. I need that Simpsons bit where Mojo the monkey is just like sprawled in his basket because he spent all day with Homer, and he just presses on his little computer, pray for Mojo. That is me. Thoughts and prayers. Give me some mojo back. On that note, folks, you know where to find me. TechSales.Academy at Jamil J. Raymond on all the socials. Gonna go get some sleep. Gonna slow the fuck down. But the good thing is, bright days are ahead for all of us. All right? Be good to yourselves. Take care. See you next week. Love you. Bye.